The second stage of the observation process is classroom observation. Purposeful observations offer critical opportunities for evaluators to gather evidence and gain insight into an educator's practice.
What do you think mob mentality means?
In this classroom observation, evaluators observe Miss Kathleen Bandauer's Writing Academy class.
We are currently reading To Kill a Mockingbird, and we are trying to look at some of those deeper themes within Mockingbird and apply those to our everyday life as well as to other pieces of literature. So you're going to see some collaboration in their groups where they are doing the thinking related to the theme of courage. First of all, I read to you the quote by Atticus, and I told you it's probably my all-time favorite quote. And it's Atticus defining courage for Jem. Who remembers when he defined that for Jem? Charlotte?
Jem came back from Mrs. DeBoe's house after she died, and Atticus was saying that if she hadn't wanted him to read for him, he would have made her because he wanted him to see what real courage was.
Exactly. So Atticus defines courage as, and this is directly from chapter 11, I wanted you to see what real courage is, instead of getting the idea that courage is a man with a gun in his hand. It's when you know you're licked before you begin, but you begin anyway, and you see it through no matter what. You rarely win, but sometimes you do. Very, very powerful message from Atticus. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do a 3-step interview. And so the way it's going to work is you and your face partner, you're going to share what you wrote. What is your definition? Okay, and what you've experienced with courage. The person that you're sharing with, you need to listen. Okay, listen very carefully, because you are then going to, in your groups, share, okay, what they said. And then the final part of it will be like we always do, and I'm going to call on you and I'm going to ask you to share what did your group decide on, or what did you say. You have 3 minutes. Go.
My life it's when someone is always responsible and always take on challenges with their actions.
Just always doing the right thing.
All right, nice job. Okay, so now what you're going to do is in your groups, you're going to share what your face partner said about their definition of courage and their experience.
Courage is basically when you try but you fail, but it's just not that.
Okay, so have you guys shared?
Courage is when you do something that you know is right, but even people think it's wrong. When you try to do something that maybe people don't agree with, it's what people call courage.
Thank you. Arbor, your group, what did you guys talk about? What did you say?
Well, what I define as courage is that it's when someone is always responsible of their actions and they always take on challenges, even though they may become afraid from them. Like they face their fears and they don't run away from them.
That's okay. That's great. Good. All right, Alex, what'd your group say?
Well, we said that courage could sort of be in everyone, and anyone can bring it out at any time, and they would stand up for what they believe was right. Okay. Or public speaking could also be.
Oh, most definitely, right? Good. Okay. So we kind of are on the same plane, the same idea level as far as what courage is, defining it. And how many of us did our courage definition tie back to Atticus? Exactly. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at how courage applies to, first we're going to look at how it applies to Lord of the Flies. So we're going to go back to our learning with Lord of the Flies, and then we're going to connect it to Mockingbird. So, all right, round robin. Clean sheet of paper, name upper right-hand corner. First question. Which characters in Lord of the Flies were courageous, and what did they have to do? So you're just writing. Which characters in Lord of the Flies were courageous, and what did they have to do? One of the Kagan structures is the all right round robin, and one of the philosophies with Kagan is that individual accountability. It's very easy for kids to kind of fly under the radar when they're only speaking, but when they're writing, everybody's held accountable, because when they pass that paper to the next person, they need to have written something on that paper. Finish up your thoughts. Pass to the left. Read what was written. Put your name in the margin. Add to it, respond to it. Pass to the left. Read what was written. Write your name in the margin and respond. And give them back to the owner. Okay, read what was written. Harper, what did your group say? What were some of the things that were written?
Jack and Piggy were both courageous because they both tried to impact society in a good way, even though conflict was surely to arise. But Isabel said, even though Jack made some maybe harsh choices, he could be considered courageous because no one stood up for his beliefs no matter what.
Good, good. Daniel, what'd your group say?
Okay, my group said that everyone, like all the major characters that were developed, were courageous because they stood up for what they believed in, even like they were willing to fight for it, and even some of them died just to help support their cause.
Who died? Piggy and Simon. Okay. What do you think mob mentality means? Read what was written. Next question. Which characters in Mockingbird have been courageous? And I really want to know, what did they do? What made them courageous? Next question is related then to Scout and Mr. Cunningham. What did Scout do to pull him out of that mob mentality? So now what we're going to do is I've passed out to your groups an assignment based on what we've just done in class. We've looked at courage personally, we've connected it to Lord of the Flies, and now we've connected it to Mockingbird. You're probably going to need your book because I want you to use textual evidence, but you're going to work in groups to do this. How did these chapters illustrate Atticus's definition of courage? You have 5 minutes. Go.
And also in chapter 16, Mr. Adolphus Raymond, I think he's showing courage in that one because he's sitting with the African Americans and he prefers that way, even though other people don't like it.
As I'm walking around, okay, yes, you're pulling textual evidence, but do you have to quote it directly or can you paraphrase?
Paraphrase.
Definitely. You're going to want to paraphrase that. So work together.
I put right before Atticus goes into the trial, he knows that he's defending a black man and he still tries to give him a fair trial, which is shown on page 218 when the man says, yeah, but Atticus aims to defend him. That's what I don't like about it. Atticus knows that he's going to lose, but he still tries to get Tom Robinson a fair trial.
To end class today, what I want you to do on the back of this is we're going to do a ticket out the door. I want you to respond to this. First of all, in Lord of the Flies, we saw that the boys were operating under mob mentality when they killed Simon. In To Kill a Mockingbird, Scout is able to pull Mr. Cunningham out of the mob mentality, and we talked about that. What's the difference? And how has courage influenced the development of Scout, Jem, and Atticus? So now we're just kind of pulling together our ideas of what we did in class. And now I want you to take it to yourself personally. How does this theme of courage apply to us individually and to our school? I think it went all right. Like I typically do, I overplan. Probably in hindsight, this would have been a 2-day lesson. There was a lot of thoughtful conversation going on, even though it wasn't oral, it was all written. So tomorrow we're gonna come back and I'm gonna review their tickets out the door and the work that they did defining courage for themselves and how it applied to chapters 15 and 16 specifically, because now we're moving into the trial for Mockingbird. Make sure you've not forgotten anything, unless it's chocolate. You can leave me chocolate anytime.